All right, welcome to another episode of Investing with Quito. Got my co-host here, Jeremy. Jeremy, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm great. It's a new month. Spring's starting to come around. It's a great time to be alive. It's good.
Yes, it is. We've got teased a little bit though because the weather's has not been so cooperative.
No, like even this morning, I'm driving. It's like I'm driving through a fog, like from Frozen 2, just walking into a fog out there, into the unknown.
Right. Yeah, I know my wife has been complaining about the cold weather. It's like, shouldn't it be warming up? I said, yes, it will warm up later this week. At least that's
Hmm.
according to the weather.
Yeah, hope so. Like 75 and sunny, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But so what's going on with your business? What are you currently working on?
Well, our business had a really good month. Actually, probably the best month we've had since we've had it. We did $22,000 in gross sales or net sales.
Nice.
That's really good. And so and when they think about like NOI and return and things like that, our cost of doing business is right around like 16,000. So to have a profit of what the minimum would be like 6,000, that's a pretty good month, right? And so talking about like
Hmm.
the NOI of that is pretty great, especially since we paid only $80,000 for it and we're making $7,000 cash flow from it on this month, right? Talk to me in June and see how if it's still the same thing. But it's been a good month.
Hmm.
We've had a lot of hiring new people, getting people in place, putting up new structures to like get people booking parties more and developing more curriculum for like classes, which is pretty great. So we're trying to think about since our busiest months are in the winter, right, when it's not nice outside and kids want to play
Hmm.
inside, we're trying to think of ways to get classes in the summer to have people come in for like summer camps when it's hot outside,
Right.
and also some kind of digital product to sell year round. Um, and then my wife's doing a really great job with our social media. We're doing really great on TikTok, getting like over 100,000 views on some videos.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet to get a lot of traffic and get people to know about our business. And we're getting like, I think yesterday I got 200 more followers in a day. Like that's pretty great numbers, pretty good for the last
Hmm.
couple months. So we're pretty excited about that. That's really great.
Right. It's great to watch you just really take a business and just really just turn it around. Because how long have you had the business now?
So the business itself was established in 2021, September of 2021, and we purchased it this of July of 2023. So it's
Okay.
been around. It was doing okay. It had a great customer base, a lot of loyal fans. And then we took it over and started to run it like a business, started to hire people, started to scale it, started to make it more automated. It's got a lot more since we have kids, we know what kids like and have it more kid friendly for parents because obviously we're not like marketing the kids, we're marketing the parents. So as parents, we
Right.
can market to people who are in our season of life. We know what they want. We know it's easy for them. So trying to scale it that way. And then just trying to figure out like because the old business owners had a bunch of problems, but they handled it themselves or they did it themselves or just kind of um, put it off, I would say, because they didn't have the skills or the energy to do it. And sometimes business just takes what it takes. As you know,
Hmm.
right? Bad things happen, things are hard.
Right.
We're talking to another business owner in another city in Montana, and they're trying to sell their business. And it's just kind of like either you have to sell it and take the loss, or you have to do the work and put in the hours and like do handle the stress and make it grow. And I think that's
Hmm.
just kind of where either business owners push through and do it or they don't. And they want
Right.
us to get their money out.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like when you have a business, like you really have to put in the work, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like do
Mm-hmm.
whatever it takes to make it happen. And it's like a long payoff. I'm going through the same thing with some of my rentals. I mean, it needs a lot of work and I'm pumping money, pumping resource into it. And I'm not seeing a return yet, but I know that once it gets done, the return will be there. But just right now, it's like, man, it's just, you know, I'm spending money, getting contractors in there, I'm fixing things, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just seems like a lot of work. And it's like, man, when is this going to end, right? But as you know, as you continue to do it, your business will increase, it will get better. And that's, and that's what I'm looking forward to for, my rentals. Once I get these things done
Hmm.
and I start getting tenants coming in, then then it will pay itself back. So
Hmm.
just like what you're saying with your business, like you got to roll up your sleeve, just do what it takes right now to put the attention to it, to grow it, to hire experts and, people in place to do the work. Because sometimes, like for me, swinging a hammer, I'm not good at that, right?
Right.
And I could help out with some stuff, but the most thing is I have to hire people who know how to do the electrical, know how to do the plumbing and things like that in order to fix things, right? So,
Yeah. You got to find good people on your team, right? That kind of
hmm
comes down to it. Like we just recently hired a manager, and so she's like the person we're going to put in this spot to help us like take ownership over the store, make sure things are running smoothly, incentivize her to start booking things and having referrals come and like having people come in and like do classes. And so like that will
hmm
help our business so that we can have focus on the other stuff that will scale it and grow it. Because
hmm
I think even some people watching this or in our group, like everyone wants cash flow. Like who doesn't want cash flow? Mailbox money
right.
coming in every single month. But I think people forget sometimes that it also takes, you're always still going to work on something. Like you're
hmm
going to work on a property, you're going to have to get a tenant in there, you're going to have to kick a tenant out, you're going to have to handle a problem with like no revenue. What are you going to do? And that kind of stuff. So there's always something to work on and fine
Right.
tune in your business.
Yes. Absolutely. As I guess as sexy as it may seem, like getting the monthly cash flow, that's great, but you got to realize it's not passive, it's not purely passive. You gotta put in some work, right?
Hmm.
And for me, like I don't mind doing the work, right? I don't mind rolling up my sleeves here and there, but it does, you can't just set it and forget it, like, oh, it's just gonna come in each month. You gotta maintain it. You gotta make sure you got a property that's up to date, make sure things are getting fixed and being able to prioritize what gets done and what doesn't get done, right? Because it's
Hmm.
so easy to just start fixing things and then realize, like, wait a minute, wouldn't it be better to start fix the units that I've got tenants that are going to be moving in versus fixing a unit that needs a lot of work and I don't have a tenant in place for it just yet? So just being able to prioritize which unit gets done, what needs to be done,
Hmm.
and just working it that way.
Totally. Yeah. There's always work to be done, always things to improve on, problems to solve.
Y-
Always. There's always
Yeah,
problems.
always problem. And speaking of problems, just wanted to share this quick story. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, as when you have properties, like you don't know what your tenants are going to do, right? I mean, um, you screen them and you hope that they do. You hope they're a good tenants, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I've got this one tenant. I'm not sure how much I can disclose, but it's in the news, so I guess I can kind of share what I know from my perspective. But this is kind of dark, and one of my tenants, uh, you know, they found a dead body in the back of the shed.
Mm.
And apparently, and I didn't know this because I don't watch the news too much, but there's been a kid that's been missing for a couple of weeks. His parents been trying to find him or relatives, and come to find out that he was dead and was hiding in the back of was not hiding was in the shed in one of my rentals.
Mm.
And now I found about it. I kept getting calls from the neighbor because it's one property, it's two properties on one lot. So the other tenant was calling, like, there's a bunch of cops here. What's going on? I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And long story short, so I call up my tenant that lives in the house. Hey, what's going on? She says, oh, well, there's a dead body in the back of our shed. I was like, okay, well, how did it get there? Like, do you know? And single mother, 5 kids. She doesn't know what's going on. And her son um, apparently was one of her son's friend. And
Mm.
apparently he spent the night and then he was told that he left. and being that, single mother's working all the time, she didn't think anything of it. And so weeks go by, and I guess his body's been there for several weeks, maybe.
Oh,
And so they finally got a search warrant. They found the body there. They blocked off the whole neighborhood, and they arrested the her 13-year-old son for tampering with evidence. At least that was the
yes,
case. Well, fast forward, and I mean, in this, of course, the single mother, she's like, it's tough on her. She's got 5 kids, and for this to happen, and her
ugh,
son's in jail for tampering with evidence, and kind of find out, um, the guy was the person that died was shot in the head,
ugh,
and it was it was her son who shot the kid, and so which is just very very tragic, right?
mm,
And
yeah,
and the thing is, even though you can't control that, but now, even though it's not my fault, I've got people that are upset with what happened, and they're vandalizing the property. They're shooting
mm,
out the windows. They're putting, um, spray painting the sidewalk, calling him names, and just
really,
profanity and stuff. And it's tough. And so it impacts the neighborhood too, because the neighbors are scared because they don't want their kids to go out there because there might, they say it might be kind of gang related or whatever the case is. But the thing is, like, you can't control what other people do, or what I mean, their 10 might be a good 10, but their kids or whatever, or friends or whatever, and they do stuff on your property, and just kind of makes it hard from you,
yes,
and things like that gets really stressful, right?
no joke. So
Yeah.
what do you even do, Keto? Like, what can you do? What's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much I can do at this point. I mean, for me, I just gotta wait for it to kind of settle. Because I mean, I got broken windows I need to repair. And because it's not safe for the tenant to be there, she went elsewhere, got a hotel, she's currently staying in a hotel, and she's gonna move out. But
mm,
now I'm left with a property that's been vandalized, right?
hmm, and that's
And
empty.
yep, and it's empty, and it's and I totally understand. I'll let her go off the lease. I mean, I won't penalize her for anything like that. But then it puts me as a landlord in a tough situation, because now I've got an empty property, and it's going to need to be repaired, right? And
Hmm.
being that this is all over the news, like, who's going to want to rent this place, right? Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that is an unknown. Um, I Yeah, I said there's not much I can do. And, there's a lot of stress that goes, even though it's not me directly, but indirectly, it really affects me.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
we talked about, I think, a couple episodes ago, about the importance of, like, having a routine, and building that mental resilient, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
even though, like, we invest, we have businesses and we invest in real estate, but at the same time, it's also important to make sure that we're in good physical health and good mental health, right? Because I know we talked about you going to the gym, right?
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
routines that you go through, and say my routine, and looking back, it's like, obviously the stress was mounting, and I don't think that mentally that I would have been able to handle it if, you know, if I didn't have the kind of routine, and didn't put up systems or practices in place prior. Because the things that we do, it's always like you're setting yourself up for what might happen in the future, right? Like when you're
Hmm.
working on your future, you don't know how that is gonna, um like, be of use in the future, like, when it's going to pop up. And when things like that happens, like, man, it was that weekend when I heard the news, it was tough.
Hmm.
I have kids around that same age, right? I mean, I was praying for, the victim's family. I was praying for,
Hmm.
my tenant and her son. I was praying for the whole situation, because you know just thinking back, I couldn't even imagine of something like that, even doing anything remotely that at that age. right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's hard to see what the world's going to, but we got to do what we can do, um, just with only
Yeah.
immediate family and then for ourselves.
I mean, yeah, like I can't imagine a worse situation for anyone. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine, but like that's a pretty awful one to have your son,
Hmm.
to have five kids, single mom, I'm
Yes,
assuming,
single mom.
and then have your son be the one that kills another kid, and then the
Hmm.
family, and then everything that goes with it, the move out, and then the just everything that goes with it, financially, even for her. Like, what does she
Hmm.
do financially?
Yeah, and
What's the kid's life?
yeah, it's tough because I remember when I took her in because she was basically kind of homeless before
Mm,
she rented from me. And she was so grateful. Thank you so much. And I mean, I want to help,
hmm,
and so I did what I can. I mean, she's been good with paying rent, doing what she can for being a single mother. You know what? She that I guess I will rent to you, and she was there for like over a year, and
hmm,
then you know this happened, and it's hardly meant for her. I mean, it's just being a mother, with five kids, and this happens, and she's got other kids to take care of, and now it's affecting the whole family. So I just hope that you know whatever happens, that it kind of works out for her some way somehow. So
hmm. Man, I'm sorry, man. That's hard. That's hard for them. And
yeah, it is. It's a tough situation, and
hmm,
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But and the reality of it, as being a landlord, you're gonna run into something that's just unexpected, and there's really no contingency plan for it. It's just it happens. You just got to deal with it, and then move on, right?
do the best you
Right.
can, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just the best you can, and that's it. So I know that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing the goal of the story is like, I heard a quote today from Annie Frisella, and it's like, life is hard. And as long as you know that everything's hard, you get to pick your hard, and that makes whatever hard you pick a lot easier because you know the price is going to be. So like, you want to get rentals? That's hard. Here's the price. As long as you know it's hard, you can go for it. You want to own a
Hmm.
business? That's also hard. As long as you know it's hard, you can go through it and keep doing it. And as
Hmm.
long as you have that attitude, it's like life is hard. You get to pick it. That
Right.
helps a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And the thing is too, is like, as business owners, like it's like you said, it is going to be hard. We just got to pick what that hard is, right? I mean, like anything in life that you want to do, it's not going to be easy because if it was easy, then everybody would just do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you just pick, like what you said, you just pick your heart and just do it. Just do it to the best of your ability because there is a payoff at the end, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a payoff. So yeah.
Yeah. As long as you know it, you can pay it.
That's right. You just pay the price, pay for the price. I think if anything, if they can get something out of this, it's like, just pick your heart and just know it's gonna be hard, and just pay the price and just do it because there is a reward. Because the alternative to not doing the hard things, it's gonna be hard anyways, right?
Hmm.
Because if
Yeah.
you don't do the hard things, life is gonna be hard because you're gonna suffer, right? So
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
you know you're gonna suffer, like just pick the hard, so you'll get rewarded. Versus I tell my kids this thing all the time, like do the hard thing, life gets easy. If you do what's easy, life will get hard,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So just do the hard things because if you don't, it's gonna get harder, right? That's just it. That's just life. So we just gotta pick it and just go for it.
You're even saying like for you, if you didn't pick the hard thing of being a landlord, life would still be really hard, even if no one was murdered in your property. Like life would still
Yeah,
be challenging, right?
absolutely. Yep, life would still be challenging some way, somehow, right? So we just gotta just pick us like with you and your business, right? I mean, we've gone through some hard stuff with fires and things like that, and
Yeah.
it's hard. And the alternative to not doing that hard thing, it'd probably be harder because financially because you're going to school full time and you're working full time and and supporting a family. I mean, it is hard. It would be
Hmm.
harder if you didn't have another source of income coming in, right?
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Be much harder.
Yeah. So speaking of income, let's I'll make a transition here.
Yeah, great.
Uh, I know I'm working on a property that I'm flipping,
Okay.
and it's coming on the market this week. It was an interesting situation that we talk about, the hard things, right? Well, this was a situation where the owner was going to go into foreclosure. She literally was like 3 days before the auction.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
luckily she reached out to us. We caught her in time, figure out what her situation was, figure out how far behind she was. We agreed on the price. We um we went ahead and paid her arrears. And then we made a deal, say, okay, well, we'll pay you arrears, and what we'll do is when we sell the property, okay, we will pay you, the equity that you would have, right?
Hmm.
Because if she didn't work with us, obviously she would have lost everything and gotten nothing and would have ended up homeless.
Mm.
Well, what we did was we were able to get her caught up, agreed on the price, and gave her some equity so she would have something to start over with. And um, and the thing is, like, even though it's like as investors, y'all want to create a win-win situation. Like I
Hmm.
could have easily went in there, really took advantage of the situation. Not that I would, but there's some investors out there that would not have, that would care less about the seller, right?
Hmm.
To me,
Hmm.
like as I'm always finding ways how I can create a win-win situation for the seller and for me, right? And so it was a thing where it's okay, I was able to help her out and able to help me out. So when we sell it, she's going to get, some of her equity, and I will get some equity to once it sells.
Hmm.
So, you know, so cross our fingers, hopefully it will get sold sooner than later because we had to do a lot of stuff to get it ready. I mean, she was living, had cats, and probably had not cleaned the place for years and years because
Hmm.
my cleaners, they spent like 4 days trying to clean that place.
Wow.
Yes, 4 days.
Wow.
And then my younger brother is actually the one listing the property, and he's working his tail off. He's painting, he's like he's stressing things up. And the thing is, like, for me, I would have just cleaned it up and just put it on the market, and we get what we can get from it, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But but the consumers these days, they want things that are more of a turnkey, ready to go. So I've
Hmm.
had to invest some money into, making it look presentable. So so it's attractive to a buyer. So they would buy. And sometimes, I kind of go through like how much money do I want to put into it versus how much am I going to get out? Right.
Hmm.
Like, am I
Hmm.
going to get that much more out of it than if I didn't do it? So it's kind of that balance. And the thing is, I'll be honest, like I won't get that much more out of it, but what I will get is is a property that would make it easier to sell because it looks clean, looks nice. We replaced the flooring in there, repainted the walls, we painted the kitchen cabinets, put in uh, the hardware, knobs and handles, and we changed out the vanity. So this is what I call like more of a like um, cosmetic flip, just
Hmm.
basically just
Hmm.
cosmetic stuff, nothing structural. And so, I mean, it looks nice. You've seen those pictures, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that looks great. That's a
Yeah.
great difference,
Yeah.
like
Big
from where it was.
differences. Yeah. It's just amazing what paint and carpet will do to a property. We just kind of dress it up.
Hmm.
Um, So, I mean, I know I'll get the money I put in back in terms of what I invested. I mean, I will get my rehab money back. But in terms of the actual value of it going up by another 20, 30,000, probably not. But
Hmm.
it would make it would make it more desirable and easier to sell.
Gosh, so the hard work up front really does make it a lot easier on the back end.
Right. Yes. Yep. To a theme, do
Yeah,
the hard thing. Yes, it was hard. It's
yeah,
hard, like ripping out the carpets, get the cleaning, and just really dressing it up. So
good. Yeah, hard things pay off, man. So
yes,
hopefully that will sell quick and get your money returned and start to put in more deals.
absolutely, absolutely. So I got lots of bills to pay as a business owner.
Yeah, like Windows.
Yeah, Windows. Yeah, and that's that's the thing is I want to let the audience kind of see behind the scenes, like what happens. Like these are the real things that happen. It's not always roses, a mailbox money. Nope, there's work that goes behind the scene, and that's just that's just part of it. That's the
Hmm.
process. Just do the work. It will pay off. So.
Good. Yeah. Well, like, let us know how it goes, and like we'd want to hear about that story too, about that mom and that property, and hopefully your property sells and it's all good.
Right, yes. So I'll keep you guys, I'll give you an update next week. We'll see what kind of offers we get this week on it. So
Okay, sweet. Can people find it? Like if you go to our Facebook page, I think they can find it if they're
yeah,
looking for a
yeah,
deal.
yes, they can find it. I'll give you the address, 1760 Tanner Lane
Hmm.
in Billings. So I think on the show notes I will put a link to that property. So
Well, sweet. I'd love to see it. Maybe we
okay.
can show it off.
Yeah, we'll show it off. All right. Well, thanks for a conversation. I look forward on a weekly basis, just connecting with you and seeing what you're up to and just sharing ideas. And it keeps me accountable, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, same here. I love it. I love like you need relationships right in this business. It's like you said, I think at our last meetup, excuse me, it's like this is a business about relationships. It's not all about
Mm,
like deals. It is about deals and structure and underwriting and funds, but it's about relationships. And that's I think been
absolutely.
really key. That's been I've learned from you. So
All right. All right. Well, thank you. And join us next week on another episode, guys.
all right. See you guys later.